Hey folks, sometimes we can just value add a bit and make a second video. I did cover this one at Menai, in the Menai Conservation Area, and I think by the end I was confusing myself with possibly a bit of intergradation, but I think it was pretty sound. But look, sometimes, you know, I don't think there's any harm making a second video on some things just to get some points across. I'm still in Castlereagh Nature Reserve. This is Western Sydney, Cranebrook area, late October. And this is a beautiful Acacia parva pinnula. And just pays to remember how we compare it to Falciparum and maybe Irorata. It's very common here out in this Western Sydney Reserve, Castlereagh especially. I think I pick it up in Waiata as well. But it's in full flower now, and I just thought it might be worth a second video. I got some time anyway. Just check the pruneo stems. That's what we mean, and they've got a nice white wax on them. And if I rub hard enough, it'll probably come off. Yeah, it's just going from glaucous to green as I rub that wax off there. So they're nice and pruneose. That's what the description means. Yeah, you can see there how I can rub it off. And just compare it to my Falciparum video. These are multi-stemmed. They're nice multi-stem shrubs, even though they're getting on a bit. And this is what I get in the Lucas Heights area in my backyard at Sutherland's. At the moment there's a very dense mid-story like this. And I don't really see Falciparum doing this too much, although I could definitely see Falciparum more in its natural habitat, but I've picked it up in a lot of places now. Parva pinnula is really good for doing this sort of Paramatensis thing, where it can grow in these really dense sort of regenerating copse. And that Lucas Heights mountain biking area is a really good place to see it. You've just got this really, really sort of ongoing mid-story. They look like they're sort of coppicing shrubs a little bit. I'm assuming these have all come up from seed, but you just get this really continuous multi-stemmed mid-story at Lucas Heights, but it's doing it sort of here as well, just in a sort of lesser prevalence. But Parva pinnula, you do get these nice glaucous sort of lichen-looking shades on the stems. I'll just demonstrate that through here. Just some nice glaucous growth there. And then when you look at the foliage, it's got a good bluey green hint to it. I'd say it's about the middle of the spectrum, and I know I'm under the dense cloud today. There's no sun, but it's got a good bluey green look to it. I just find Paramatensis and Decurrens are very green. This is a good bit of bluey green. Not saying it's blue at all, but you can sort of see a dash of blue there. The pinnules are very fine, they're very clustered. And I was going to use a bit in my hand, but I'll start with this bit here, which is a very good example. You can just see those glands very easily and prominently. There they are. And in Parva pinnula, they're just a bit all over the shop. You can get 1 to 3 interjugary glands. And I think the jugary glands are sort of more or less absent a lot of the time. So what we get in Parva pinnula is a bit of a confusing array. We can have jugary glands present or absent, and then we can have 1 to 3 interjugary glands. But it's that sort of, I don't want to say sort of random, but it's that sort of variation in the glands that leads me to Parva pinnula. And it's the hairy rachis where the glands are, it's nice and hairy. And it's just different to Falciparum in the numbers. You're not meant to get more than 3, but the other one I haven't mentioned is Mearnsii. We're sort of throwing it in with Mearnsii in what the jugary glands are doing. Sorry, the jugary and interjugary glands. Oh, that one's almost pushing it to 4. But to me, it's just the look of the pinnules. It's got the very Paramatensis Mearnsii pinnules, but in Mearnsii, they've got a nice glossy sheen on them. Remember, Mearnsii can grow into a large tree, and so can Falcipalia, the video I made. Parva pinnula, it tends to be a smaller beastie. It tends to want to do more of this sort of thing. And it can get up to 10 metres tall. I have seen some big ones in the Bargo area that were pushing about 8 or 9 metres. But Falcipalia and Mearnsii are normally bigger plants. So they've got the potential to be bigger plants with much fatter trunks. I haven't really seen a Parva pinnula with a really fat trunk on it, like a 10 or 20 centimetre trunk. It's got the bluey green foliage. The pinnules are very small and clustered. It doesn't have the sheen that Mearnsii has. And it's just got those jugary and interjugary glands a bit all over the shop. I also like the really hairy rachis. That helps me as well. And the flowering time might also be helpful in this particular case, but I think Paramatensis is about to flower now, and I've had Falcipalia flowering lately. I would say the flowers look different on Parva pinnula. They're a very pale cream as opposed to the sort of bit darker yellow on Falcipalia. So the glands really are all over the place there. But it's stacking up to the description where jugary glands present or absent and interjugary glands 1 to 3. And it's sort of doing that nice and consistently as you come through. But gee, they're just a bit all over the place. So it's a little bit of a harder one. It's got these nice cream flowers, very pale cream. That's what I typically see in Parva pinnula. In the Hunter Valley, I've seen them almost sort of whites, not quite white, but a very light pale cream. And I think Falcipalia, they're just a deeper yellow. Mearnsii, yeah, they're probably about this colour. So you just have to combine the flowers with the foliage. If we had Mearnsii growing here, say naturalised on the tracks, yeah, it might start to get a bit confusing. But I just think there's a difference in the foliage colour. You can have heads with up to 20 flowers. I think they're described as being 14 to 20 in each head. And you just got these axillary and terminal panicles, racemes, typical in the bipinnates. You can have sort of racemes or these larger sort of panicles coming out. I won't worry too much about the dimensions, but they're putting on 14 to 20 flowers in a head. Small flowers, nice dainty heads, and they're just putting them out in these sprays coming out of the, a lot of the time near the terminals, but they can be axillary as well. If I can repeat the range again properly, Parva pinnula, it's a New South Wales one only. It's sort of scattered down to around Goulburn. Most of the range is north of sort of Bargo Hilltop there in the Southern Highlands. And then it's going through Sydney pretty commonly. It's getting into the lower Blue Mountains. It goes up again into the Hunter Valley around Singleton, Broke, that area. I do remember in the Hunter Valley, I've seen a lot of it on the side of the road where if it's in flower, it's easy to pick up, and most of the time there's small plants on the side of the road. I think you can sort of find scatterings out towards Orange. I don't know if they're naturalisations or not, but out towards Orange, they're mainly the lower Blue Mountains, Sydney, towards Hilltop, scatterings to Goulburn. That's sort of the main range of it. And possibly you pick it up through down into Wollongong, Nowra as well. So down around Nowra, I've seen a lot of Falcipalia rather than Parva pinnula, but Parva pinnula might be down there too. So that's just another one on Parvipinula. I just like to make maybe 2 videos on these wattles just to show some different habitat, show you where you can pick them up. Just finish off on those glands again. Yeah, that's getting a bit falcifolia, what it's doing there, but you shouldn't get more than 3. Remember, falcifolia, you can get 5 interjugary glands. And I just think the foliage is more spaced out, not as bluey green. It's got a bit of a glossy look to it. These aren't glossy at all. They're just a non-glossy bluey green for Parvipinula, and I think the hairiness is good as well. Shouldn't confuse it with Irorata because you won't have these jugary glands going on at all, or these interjugary glands going on at all in Irorata. I always think Parvipinula, you're going to confuse it with Mearnsii or falcifolia. Well, I sort of lump those 3 together, but there's some differences there. But they're putting on a beautiful flowering out here in Castlereagh. Out here at Castlereagh, you might get Paramatensis, and you might get the odd Decurrens as well, but I reckon these are pretty noticeable just for all those features.